Hello and welcome to Rebels Radio latest interview. I'm joined by Slough Joint Manager Jon Underwood. How are you, John?
Okay, thanks, John.
Yeah, better disappointed after yesterday?
Yeah, massively disappointed. Second half performance in particular was nowhere near what's acceptable, and it's tough at the minute. We're having last few weeks have been really disappointing. Players are not, we're not getting the performances that we expect individually and collectively from the players at the moment. And it's not one player, it's not a couple of players, it's not one area of the pitch. It's right throughout the squad at the moment, which is the biggest concern. If it was just one thing that we could pinpoint, we could put all our energy into getting that part right. But at the moment, it's both ends of the pitch, and that's the concern.
Yeah, there was a concern obviously at the start of the game. You had to go with perhaps a slightly different changed team and formation. Hatchett was unwell.
Yeah, we'd picked the team after training this week, and we had 17 available. Decided to let Gurkhan go and get another game at Nap Hill. So we were going to go with a strong 16-man squad. We were going to play 4-4-2 with Scott Harris and Eddie up front. And yeah, we heard from Hatchett Saturday morning. He'd basically been up all night being sick. He'd picked up a bug and was unable to play. So we've talked a lot about this, myself and Bakes. We've talked about it again today. If we could go back 24 hours, we would put Dan Reid up front. We'd keep everything as we planned to do, and we'd play 4-4-2. We didn't do that. We felt that we decided to go with Eddie up front and Jake playing off him. I think Jake's been probably our most creative player recently, and we thought if we can get him on the ball. A lot of teams play that way. A lot of teams have played against us with one out and out forward and one in the hole, and it causes centre halves a problem. We thought it was a time to try that. We've been playing two up front all the time. We always play two up front. We thought we'll give that a go. I thought it would make us solid, and it clearly didn't work. I mean, I think at the end of the day, what we probably didn't really allow for when we got to the game and during the warm up, the pitch has really dried out now at Holloways. It's I mean they clearly rolled it and done their best with it, but it was quite bobbly where it's dried out, and it doesn't make free flowing football on the ground that easy. We found this last year towards the end of last season when the pitch dried out, and we ended up being a bit more direct. But the instructions to the players yesterday were to get the ball down, to use the width of Dobbo and Sean, and get the ball into Jake in good areas and try and create chances for Eddie. With hindsight, that didn't work as well as we hoped. I thought the boys tried to play, particularly first half. I thought we played some good football at times, but on reflection, probably mostly in front of their back four and not really hurting them. That we didn't create a lot of clear-cut chances.
Yeah, it was similar to Redditch in a way in terms of that there was a positive start. There was a lot of tempo, high energy. Beautiful day, big crowd. You thought you'd kick on from there, but then sucker punch again, a soft goal, and it's around that time, about 30, 35 minutes into a game.
Yeah, there's so many similarities to the Redditch game because I think we started that game very positively as well. We were reasonably pleased. You've got to remember, this is a team we haven't got confidence flowing throughout the side at the moment. The easiest thing in the world is to go and tell your players just to lump it, and we didn't do that. We asked them to try and play, and to their credit, they did try and play first half. And I thought, as I said, we played some decent stuff. But then Cambridge were very much more direct. They played two up. They didn't really look to get it down and play. They looked to just get it in the channels and try and force mistakes. And their goal just came from a straightforward ball, and we'd been up for a long throw, and they broke and just stuck it in behind us, and very, very soft goal from our point. That was the frustration that we were working so hard to try and create opportunities by playing and passing, and then one very straightforward ball down through the middle, and they get in and score, and it was the same as last week. A soft goal to concede,
and heads dropped again.
They did, and that's the concern, because these players haven't all of a sudden become poor players, but the most concerning thing is the reaction we're getting now. Not necessarily at 1-0, but probably at 2-0. Because I thought in the second half we tried to be positive. You know, we gave it about 5-10 minutes, and then we put Reedy on, and we tried to try something a bit different, and we asked them to be a little bit more direct. But then the sucker punch of the second goal and the third goal, they're very much like Redditch. They followed very quickly, and that's what's unacceptable. The sloppiness in our defending. You know, we've conceded 10 goals in our last 3 games, and I genuinely don't think there's been some good finishes in those, but it hasn't come from great play. It's come from soft defending, people not doing their job, people switching off, and people not working hard enough to protect the goal.
And at this level, the opposition tend to be a little bit more clinical in front of goal and make you pay. You know, because yesterday may not have been a 4-0 game.
It wasn't. I mean, if you look at chances created and you look at possession, all those things that, they don't count for anything. You know, the scoreline is all that counts, clearly. But if you look at the balance of play, it was nowhere near a 4-0. But you have to give credit to Cambridge. Some of their finishing was excellent. They were ruthless and we weren't. And and the same Redditch were the same the week before. They took their chances, and you know, I won't show any disrespect to Cambridge, but I don't think they came and looked to play. They looked to just get it forward, and maybe we have to learn from that. If it's the same next week, well, we will learn from that. You know, we'll have to we have to adapt, and we have to find a way to win games. And if that means being more direct, then we'll do it.
A few players could have appeared to have gone missing, particularly as you say at those crunch times when you're 1-0 down, then you go 2-0 down. Key players go missing, and a whole group, not individuals. What can you do about that?
Well, in some cases, you have to change those individuals. Whether that's leave them on the bench or whether that's bring in alternatives. Clearly, not going to kind of pick out individuals. That's behind closed doors conversations. But there are players that aren't doing it for us at the moment, that haven't done it for a little while, and that's for myself and Neil. It's difficult. It's at the stage of a season where you don't get a lot of movement, and unless you're kind of pushing for the playoffs, and players might want to come to you and have that chance of promotion. But where we are in the league, we're not the most attractive proposition at the moment for players to come to. So you're not going to pick up a player who's regularly playing football at this league, at a higher placed club. Why would they? So you might look at what we've done with Dan Reed and take a player from a level below, or there might be a Conference South player who's not getting regular football who might be up for giving it a go at Slough. And trust me, we're knocking on all doors, we're exploring all avenues, because we don't want to settle for performances like yesterday, and if we can't get the response out of the players that we have here, we'll need to try and make some adjustments, even at this stage of the season.
Are you safe from getting dragged into a relegation battle as far as you're concerned?
We should be. It's such a shame we're even talking about that, because a month or so ago we were looking up rather than down, but our recent form means we do have to look below us. Burnham and Banbury are losing most weeks. They look like two that are going to go, and there's other sides that are picking up the odd points here and there. I think for us to go down, we'd have to pretty much not pick up another point, and teams that have struggled to get wins would have to all of a sudden win five games or something like that. It's very unlikely. We need to get our own house in order and not really worry about what other teams do. We need to get some points on the board quickly.
And is there any messages out for the fans? Obviously, a few of them, I guess, were frustrated and perhaps venting that slightly yesterday during the game. But it was quite a quiet, subdued atmosphere from the start, really. It was a big crowd. It was a bumper day, and there wasn't a lot of noise. Yeah,
it was a bit quieter. I mean, clearly we're not on a good run. I think the fact, that new stand behind the goal, and much has been talked about that, a place for the fans to congregate. We told Ryan Parsons, to try and kick that way, and we thought, a bit of a novelty for the supporters. They'd probably get in there and make a bit of noise, and they didn't. But that's it's been a little bit like that all season there. But to be fair, we've not given them a lot to shout about. And I think everyone was positive around the ground in the first half. I think they could see the lads were trying to make things happen. We were having a tough time at the minute, but I think they appreciated the effort and the fact we were trying to play. Second half, clearly there was some frustration, and the goals we conceded were really poor, and understandably, I think some supporters got pretty frustrated by that. And we heard a few things shouted out, which they're not helpful, but it's often said, supporters pay their money, they're entitled to say what they like, and I think a bit of frustration came out in a few of them, which is never nice to hear, because we want everyone behind us and behind the players, and this group of players and this management team and the staff delivered a fantastic promotion last season, and maybe one or two have forgotten that, but we can't live off that. We where we are now is not good enough, and certainly the performances we're given at the minute aren't good enough. So we accept the frustration. It's a bit disappointing to hear, but we've got broad shoulders, and we'll just get on with it. And we know if we can turn things around and get some wins on the board, they'll soon come back and be positive again. So it's no excuses. It's down to us to get it right and give them something to cheer about.
And so, where do you go over the next week or so? What are the plans, and what kind of core messages are you trying to work on with the players over this next week before the Truro game?
Well, we said to them yesterday. We were pretty critical at the end of the game in the changing room, particularly about the defending. What we said is, when you're in a bad run like we are, there's only one way. There's only one thing they can do, and that's to work harder and get together as a group. And we will train Tuesday, Thursday, and we'll work hard to try and turn this around. Obviously the only other thing we can do as managers is make changes, and we are seeing if there's anything we can do to strengthen the squad and improve the squad. But this group of players is good enough to do better than it is at the moment, and the first thing we need to do is work with this group and get them to try and lift the spirits. There's no point in carrying on running them into the ground and being overly critical. We were plenty critical enough yesterday after the game, but we need to try and draw a line under that, work hard this week, and the only way to get out of it is to work even harder, and that's what we'll do this week, and hopefully something will go our way. It feels like a few things aren't going our way. We could have had a penalty at 0-0, and if you go 1-0 up, who knows? Maybe it's a different game, and little things like that just don't seem to quite happen for us at the minute. I can't remember the last time we got a penalty. We've had probably 3 or 4 real strong appeals turned down in the last month, and maybe we need that bit of luck. But we've got to work hard and earn that luck. And if we will work really hard this week, and we'll go into Saturday really positive. It's a real tough game, Truro, very strong physical side. It will be a real battle. So we will be preparing the lads for a battle on Saturday, and let's hope we can turn it around.
Yeah, well, good luck. I hope the week goes well, and we'll catch up with you next weekend.
Cheers, John.
Cheers.